Hi, everyone. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Unleash Her. I'm Roberta,
Ooh.
in case you don't know me, and I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thank you so
And I cannot wait to introduce you to my friend Wassour Sek.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Hey,
so glad to be here. It's been a while since we talked, so this is perfect.
it has been a while, and I'm very excited that we were able to do this and reconnect. And I can't wait to hear what you've been up to. But if you want to start off and just tell people a little bit about yourself, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Wassour Sek, and I was born in Africa, West Africa, Senegal. Was raised there till I was 9 years old. Came to Cincinnati, went to Colerain High School, grew up in Cincinnati. After high school, went to Dayton and Columbus for college. Uh, Studied different majors, ended up um, majoring in sport management after switching majors a couple years, not knowing what I really wanted to do. But once I found that I needed to chase what I love in life, which is sports, I was all in into the school thing because at first I didn't wasn't really big into school. So um, once I graduated, came back to Cincinnati, started coaching at my old high school for soccer, and was working for FCC and the Bengals for 1 year, that first year back in 2022. And then since then, I got out of the sports world, been kind of just working regular jobs, trying to make some money. I want to focus more on more on my personal goals instead of working for other people. So in order to do that, I have to you know be financially stable. So trying to find the right way to accumulate the funds that I'll need in order to chase the path that I see for myself in the future. But that's kind of just like a gist of everything that's been going on. But in a great place, thankful to be here and kind of get to talk to you and share some things.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. So you've always been athletic?
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of have to be growing up in West Africa. You spend your whole day playing soccer or running
Oh,
around doing things. So uh, there's not many non-athletic people from my neighborhood.
okay. Right. Got you. And but you're athletic built, you're tall, right? So that was like perfect for you.
Yeah,
And
that helps out.
we were fortunate enough to meet. We were trying to decide how many years ago it's been, and we've been watching each other's journey,
Right. From
and I
afar.
love that. What's that?
I said we've been watching from afar lately, but the first when we first met, I feel like I was actually there. Like we were helping each other through Usman and Paige. Like we're all working together for each other for like all the goals we had. So at that point, I got to sit there and watch, and then even though I'm watching from like a little bit further now, it's still like so cool to see it actually come to fruition, knowing what I know from like where it started and all that stuff. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So yeah, when we first met, it was kind of like during the beginning of my personal development journey, like
Mhm.
big time. And I think we got together and talked about personal development and the books that I recommended, maybe even passed on a few books to you and remember?
Definitely remember those and that documentary. I forget what it's called. I think it was like The Key or something.
Oh, The
The
Secret.
Secret. That one. Yeah. Uh,
Yes. Oh my
You
gosh.
definitely dropped some gems back then on me.
Ooh, I've got some new things to send you then, okay?
Let's do it.
Because when we spoke at the very beginning, I could tell that you have an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
And like you were talking before, you need that like stability of having a job until you're able to step in to that next version of you.
hmm It's very important. And that mindset kind of comes from my dad. Like from my first memory, it was my dad taking me on business trips with him and traveling with him. Like literally, I'm talking 4 or 5 years old, while other kids are in like kindergarten. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to travel 1 hour into the city with my dad, and he's sitting in the back with me and his driver. We're all having like deep talks about life, and I'm like, how was this my first memories? Like my dad expected so much from me at a young age to now where I'm like, going through life stuff. Nothing can really stop me from losing that mindset because I know like it was kind of instilled into me to go after the things that you need, but you also have to have a plan. So right now the plan is, you know, take a smaller step, get ready, and then you can work on the bigger things. So I have to credit my dad for that kind of mindset.
Oh, I love that you shared that. So, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. I thank him so much every day for that still because it makes a big difference, honestly. And I hope I have kids, and I'm gonna wish to do that for them too. Like it's pretty awesome that he did that.
Yeah, it really is. So you're close with your family?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gonna go visit them later. Uh,
Okay.
we're kind of all over the place though. That's the hard thing about our family. I have a sister here in Cincy. The rest of them, like I have three sisters in Columbus, uh, one in Senegal, brother or two in France. Like everybody's all over the place, but we all still love each other. But the only thing is, we don't get to have like those moments where everybody's together in one place. That's the only thing that sucks about that. But we're all very close, so it
Oh.
works.
So do you love being in Cincinnati or where would you prefer to be?
Well, I needed to be in Cincinnati. That's the crazy part. There was a lot of ups and downs here, but I made a decision to come back against my family's like saying, like they were telling me it's not going to be good for you. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go find out for myself because I see something. I have this vision, and it's not going to be possible if I stay here. So I came back, and Cincinnati was everything I thought it would be. But um, everything has its setbacks, and I learned a lesson from my specific setback, and it actually it actually was more of a win than a loss because being a coach, I realized like you usually learn more from losses than wins. When you lose, there's always something you're going to fix next time to make sure that doesn't happen again. When you win, it's kind of like you get the feeling. I mean, there's things you can fix, but like it's not the same. So when I take my losses, I'm very thankful about it. Like there's something there that's going to help me make sure I don't lose that way again. So that's the beauty in losses for me. I'm like, I'll take all the small losses I need to until that big moment comes, and all the losses that I took were the lessons that were going to get me ready for that big W. So that's how I've been looking at life lately, and that makes everything easier.
Ah, I love that because it's so true. I mean, when we look at that, well, I never say failure because I've never failed, until I totally quit, and that's not happening.
Yeah,
Losses are just little setbacks or whatever they may be, but definitely learning experiences. And that's been the same for myself in the past couple of years too. You try something and if it doesn't work out, you're like, okay, try something else.
right.
Do it a different way, you
You
know?
need to do that. You have to.
Yeah,
Or the other option is like you said, give up, and that's when you really fail. So
right. Exactly. So where's your path right now? So what are you working on at this time?
um, right in the moment, I'm in the selection of a job. I already have like one very good offer that I like, but that one doesn't start for I think like a month and a half. So I'm keeping my options open still, just checking things out. But right now in the moment, I'm just looking for the right job that's going to give me an opportunity, kind of like a sales job, where, like we talked about, I can put in the work and know I'm getting that much out of it based on how much I'm getting paid instead of like the 20 per hour thing or whatever. Like I need to be able to know I control my finances in a way. So that's why I'm looking for like a sales job. And then as far as like just my path in this specific moment, it's very important. I think we were talking about it earlier. Like I'm 27 years old. This is a very important moment of my life. And I felt it a month ago. I had a really like strong feeling. And you know me, like I try not to lie to myself. So I was like, hey, you're messing up on this and this and this. And if you want to reach that goal within the next few months, like you're going to have to start taking steps to kind of make these sacrifices or, start getting better. So that's literally where I'm at right now. I'm in the most important like part of the path, it feels like, just because of that feeling is so strong. And knowing what I think, it's not I don't know it, but I feel it so much, it feels like I know it. I just have to stay true and just take it day by day and do things like this. Like explaining myself out loud right now is helping me a lot more than I probably would have just by keeping it in my head. So everything feels like a lot more important in this moment where I'm at in life. So I'm not taking anything for granted. Everything is just feel so blessed, honestly. That's where I'm at right now.
Oh, do you have close are you able to talk to friends and family about things or
Yeah, I have such a great support system.
okay.
Um, as far as like talking about things, our culture is a little bit different. So my family, like, they'll be there, but I can't talk to them about a lot of things because our culture is so different. But my friends that are in the same culture, like we grew up here, so we kind of have both worlds. My close friends, like all of them, my closest friends, they're literally the best friends you can ask for. And we're gonna talk about confidence and my confidence aside from my dad when I was young, when I lost my confidence growing up, I got it back because of my friends, like the people around me, um, giving me that confidence. That's where it really like started to build up for me to make that change. So
Friends
definitely,
like Usman?
yeah, definitely. He's one of my best friends for sure.
Um, so meeting him for the first time, that's been I don't even know what year that was that I met him. And yeah, he is such an amazing person, so talented. And I could see that it would be so good for you to have friends like him around you to influence you.
Yeah, surrounded by friends like him, and I'll say like people say you should only have one best friend, but I can say I legit have like three, four best friends, and we all are like best friends of each other. So it's like nothing can get in between us, and they're all just like Usman, like the greatest friends you can literally ask for. So like talented, motivational, kind, respectful, like everything you want in a friend is the friend group that I'm surrounded by, which is why I'm the one that's always like, yo, I think you guys need to realize like we're blessed. Like this is we can't take this for granted. Like I've seen different friend groups. I've been around different people. We've all traveled, like we've been in different cultures, different people. Like we have to utilize what we actually have. Like let's not take this for granted. So when we get into hiccups, we try to make sure like none of that is gonna stop what we have in store for us. Cause I really do see like great things for all of us. We just have to stay on the path.
Yeah. Where did you meet these guys? Was it from college or
Kind of like a family thing. All of them really. Our parents knew each other. So when we came to America and we lived close enough, we started just hanging out because our families would probably go visit and then I'd go with my mom and I'd meet them and then we'd like start talking and then here and there every weekend we start hanging out and now every day we're hanging out. So it's like it's just like it started as kids. So just family kind of thing. We consider each other family, but our parents
Mhm.
is how I would say we got to meet. They knew each other and they were friends before all of us, so we had no choice.
Okay, right, and it just worked out,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
we look back and I still have, a few friends that we don't stay, like, in close contact, but friends that I went to, oh my gosh, I think I've known since 1st grade.
really,
Yeah. There were, like, 4 of us that, yeah, we would get together in a second if we wanted to, and so you might not talk to them all the time, but, you could call them anytime.
right? You know they're there.
Yeah. And they're there to tell you? Do they speak up and tell you whatever they want?
Yeah, for sure. I tell them to actually say it more because they like to see things and watch and let me do things because I am the youngest out of the friend group. So like when it comes to me, I don't get the bluntness that they kind of have with themselves because they understand who I am. Like most of the times I'm not going to listen anyways, but the times that I do need to hear some things, like they'll just hold back and watch me do things and then tell me like, hey, this and that. And then I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I probably wouldn't have listened anyway. So thank you for bringing like making that point or whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of life.
Well, do they ever? Because someone said to me one time, well, this was what, sometime last year, I guess. They're like, "You need to have your own podcast." And I'm like, "Pff."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I was like, "I don't
constantly
think so."
telling me like you're wasting this by not doing this. Like you need to
Yeah.
do this. Like, yeah, I definitely have those friends that are always like seeing things that you might not see. And like perfect example what we're doing right now. Like you probably just needed one little spark from one friend or whatever, so it's like it's probably been in your head for so long,
Yeah.
but we find so many reasons to stop ourselves. Sometimes all you need is just one little push and the rest is here.
Yeah, because you know what was stopping me was, I go, "Oh, that sounds really hard." I don't know if I can do that. It's a lot of technology, you know? So that's what was stopping me, and then when I just let that go and said, "Okay, let me check it out."
Mm,
And this is people viewing, watching you, saying, "This would be great for you." And sometimes we don't wanna listen, but maybe we
we should.
maybe we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are
Well,
you
I'm glad you did because that is kind of like I'm sure you're not the only person that had that feeling, but you are one of the people that got over it and actually did it. So it's like I have to give you credit for that. I have things that kind of like this. I still am holding myself back on, even though I have the goals for other things. Um, that's just I think it's okay to be human at the end of the day. Like you're not going to be perfect. You just have to make your priorities straight as far as what you're going to sacrifice, because we're all going to have to sacrifice something. That's how I kind of just been thinking of things.
Yeah, and this was, like, no pressure, really, because it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm doing this because I'm not doing it for money." You know?
That's
I
the
mean
biggest thing.
right. I was like, "That's if that comes, that's great." But this is more of if I want to be a better speaker, I need to speak more. I need to
That,
talk more.
yeah. So
I used to be so quiet.
I'm getting a phone call. Is it stopping the recording? I'm sorry.
Nope, you're still there.
All right.
We it's all good. Yeah, I
That's
like it. This is raw and real, okay?
of
I do.
course.
When I first started this, it was like, "Okay, am I gonna do all this perfect editing and have everything just right?" And I said, "And this is me saying, nah, actually, we're just gonna be raw and real because isn't that what it's about? What if I
Mhm.
try to make this look perfect, then it looks then it does seem like impossible for some people to do.
Yeah.
And we're not here to be perfect. Well, nobody's perfect. And I'm here to showcase others and help, support other people and to promote other people and to become a better speaker. And so, and then we just see where this road takes us. And that's what
Right.
we were talking about earlier, right?
Right. That's perfect. I mean, I'm thankful for this opportunity. Like I said, while I'm talking to you, I'm like realizing small things that once you say out loud, it just makes things different. So your your podcast or your
Yeah.
can't think of the word, but like you giving me the opportunity is
Mm.
something that's like a part of my journey that I didn't know I needed, you know? Like every small thing is just part of it. No matter how big or small, how bad or good you want to look at it, like everything that happens, like you were saying, everything that is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we were talking about that earlier because when we have, everything seems to be going pretty good. It's good. And then some contrast comes into our life, something that we really didn't want. And we're like, "Ah," you know, for I did that for a long time. I would get so mad. I'm like,
yeah,
"No," just and I would just fight it and fight it and fight it. And now that I have got to this place, it's so beautiful, and I want people to see that. And I have a story to tell, and my story just keeps growing more and more. I can't wait to tell everyone
right. It doesn't stop.
some things,
Yeah.
but it's at the right time. And so that's what this is. We're here for to grow and to expand. And you said you're like 27 and I thought at 27 I had it together. I really thought I knew what I was doing.
Don't
Oh, sorry.
scare me.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know it. I know what you mean though.
Yeah, you're way ahead of myself, trust me,
Oh, thank you.
because you're
I still feel
welcome.
like just because I'm living it this way, I appreciate that and I need to hear that. But just because I'm like living through it right now, there's no way I could be like far enough. That's just what we think. But part of me understands like it's okay. You're doing good. This is part of the path you need to be on. But I can get where you're coming from too.
Right? And then when you're watching others, okay, you said, I'm seeing you on social media and I can just, I can see it in you, the growth and your energy. And I was like, "Yes. Thank you."
It's that's facts. I
You
like we don't get to like see each other. So what I do see is like what I can gauge you from, and that's what I've seen. But like we talked about, everything in life is complicated. That's the best way you can put it. Not everything is like perfect, but you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. When you can see like I've grown so much that it's hard to believe that it wasn't until I turned 50 that I actually started figuring out who I was, and I want to help others and to figure that out before they turned 50. But hey, whatever works out, and it's a journey, so that's fine. Where we're at today and our goals will change as life goes on. But it's that confidence because that's what I've learned. It's that confidence in finding your true self and what you really want. And do you know most people don't know what they want?
Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest problems because you'll ask somebody and they'll start to tell you, and then you'll tell them, or you'll ask them the second question, and they won't be able to answer the second question because really all they're thinking is the first thing. But like, if you really want something, there's levels to it, and a lot of times people are afraid to be real with themselves. Like that's one thing I'm always working on. Like trying not to lie to myself. Like it's easy to lie to yourself. It makes you feel better. I mean, like it's all the wrong things, but it makes it feel so right. So it's like that's the hardest thing as a human not to do, not to lie to yourself.
Yeah. And getting out of your comfort zone. Okay. Talking about that, I have lived in in this Brown County and then Claremont County. That's the only place I've ever lived all my life.
Really?
Yes.
That's actually shocking for me to even know.
I'm like, I gotta get out of here. No.
Well, you travel, so it's like
Okay, yeah.
just because, yeah, you live there doesn't mean too
Uh,
much. Just because you've been able to travel, I feel like way more than probably most people will be able to say.
oh, I love it. I love traveling.
The best thing, it's literally the goal in life. I
Mm,
think like if I am able to do the things that I want to do, and like I want to change the world. If I get to change the world, that's one thing I want to like make easier for everybody in the world to travel and experience different cultures. Because I like once you do it, you realize like that's really what life is about. Experience different things so you can be more open minded and you can connect with more people. Like at the end of the day, if we all had money and we all had something to eat, somewhere to stay, um, that's probably what we would all want to do: travel around the world, experience different things. So
I
that,
know.
that's pretty important.
I know. That's why when I ask people, okay, if you could live anywhere or have anything you want or do whatever you want to do, you know, what would that be? And most of us are like, "Oh,
Can I answer?
yes, please."
I would I would have the best island ever, but the safest island also, because I'm very wary of hurricanes and all this. So it would be specifically placed somewhere in the world where they don't get too many hurricanes, and it would be beautiful. It would have a lot of different things. It would be not a small island. I would have to probably be a billionaire, but
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it's gonna have animals. I'm gonna live off of the land as much as I can. Hopefully, family and friends there. But honestly, that is that can be done almost any place as long as there's a beach or um, just as long as it's warm. Honestly, I can be anywhere in the world and have that setting. That's kind of like my goal, just to live off the land, have my own animals. That's like just kind of like an old man retiring. That's how I see myself, like at my best. Even if I'm like 35 and I get to do it.
Okay, so what would you do? So what are you going to do in exchange? Because money is an exchange of service.
Mhm.
Okay. So is there something that you would love to do?
Yeah, like I said, I love the sports thing, but in this path right now, I'm realizing I need to help other people in order to help myself. And the perfect way to do that is becoming a manager. Like telling my friends, I'm your manager now. Like whether you like it or not, I'm your manager. But only thing is, we're not signing a contract. I don't expect anything from you, but I need to do this. Like that's kind of how I've been going about like some of the friends that I have around me who are either modeling or photographers or rappers, musicians, like whatever they're doing, like each friend, I'm like, hey, I'm tapping into something right now and I need to do this. So you have no choice. You have to let me. And they're all cool about it because I mean, I give them good advice here and there. So they'll listen to all of it, even the bad ones. But that's kind of like what I've been realizing. I have to help other people in order to get to that. Like it can't just be all about me, and getting money or doing this and that. Like finding that will make me find the money in a way. That's how I've been kind of thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly where what I was thinking of too, because sometimes if, if we get stuck and if you're like, I don't know what to do right now. I don't know what my next move is. Or you know what I mean? Even if I'm working on some kind of like project, I'm like, oh, I got to get quiet or I need to step away or do
Hmm.
something different
Yeah,
or go do something for somebody else.
that's
And
kind
some
of Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, but like it will be like, yeah, but I don't have time. I mean, I gotta work. Well, last week for me, I had took like 3 hours one day. I took my mom to a doctor's appointment and all that stuff and helped them out. And it's like, whoa, taking that time was I didn't think I had it at first. I didn't
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, can I really spare this 3 hours or whatever it is?" And I did, and it felt so good.
Right.
And I was so glad that I could do that for them. And it's just it helps everyone. And so I have to tell you a little story too. Uh even with Paige one day, she something had happened, a little contrast. So if a little contrast in your life, something that you didn't want happens, she knew it right away. She's like, "Okay, we got to change this right now. I'm going to go donate a bunch of stuff. I'm going to go give back. I'm going to turn this around and it's going to make me feel better just because I'm doing something good for someone else."
Now, it's funny she says that because, like, in our culture, that's such a big thing. But when I came to America, it doesn't seem like anybody notices or knows that. It's like back home, if you're going through some tough times or whatever, everybody will tell you the same thing. All you need to do is be more giving or make a sacrifice or do something like help somebody out and things will turn around for you. Like if
Yes.
you're having bad luck, you do this thing we call sarah, which is like you get one of your people, make some food for the kids, you invite all the neighborhood kids and they have lunch at your house. Like anytime people are having bad times, that's how you help yourself. Like you feed others or you give to others or you donate. Like that's literally such an important thing to do when you're going through the bad times because somehow, some way, it always comes back like it's gonna work things out for you a little bit better than if you were like to focus on just fixing the problem. Like that's a that's a great like mindset for her. That's couldn't do any better, honestly.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, that was so good, and so I look back to also, like, when she was in that really bad accident and we were going through a lot at that time, I don't remember people reaching out to me. I'm sure a lot of people did, "What can I do?" And I probably didn't know, or we don't know what to do, like, we wanna help people, and then we're like, "Oh, we don't wanna bother them,"
Mhm.
or this or that, but it's the little things, anything that you can do.
Yeah. Don't
It
uh don't underestimate anything.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's usually the little things that people do that are
Mhm.
so huge because it comes from the heart.
Right. Yeah. I can
And
definitely think of like the best examples for that. And it's exactly that. Like the thing that they did for me was so big, but for them, it was probably such a small thought, like not much effort compared to, other times. It's just, there's something about that. Like people can put a lot of effort into something and do things for you. It might not even equate to somebody doing something much smaller in their eyes, but it resonates so much with you, like
Mhm. And
life.
yeah, and why do we're so afraid to do different things too, to do things differently.
Mm,
So this
that-
year, because it's funny, our holidays are so weird. We have a small family and it's, plus since I've like changed my nutrition, and holidays for me are a little different because I don't eat the food that I used to eat. Okay. And so like Thanksgiving, I don't really eat anything
Yeah, I
that
was
is
gonna say you
typical,
probably can't eat like 90% of the things, probably.
and I just don't even like it. So this year I said, all right, you know, I want to do something different. I want to find somewhere I want to give back. I want to do something for someone else, and I'm not going to worry about what's for me, what I'm going to be eating. Not going to think about it. I don't It's okay. We're not doing that. We're going to do something different. So I've been feeling this out, and I want to find somewhere that I can volunteer or do something like that. Just
That would be
because
awesome.
I'm feeling it.
That would be awesome. I'm sure you would not regret it. And what you were saying earlier about like helping out your mom, and taking her that 3 hours, like having to think, do I have that time? But then when you do it, like the reward you feel from it, like things like that, just kind of wakes you up a little bit more. It's like because life can just make you forget about the smallest things. So having those moments is kind of like an anchor. You just kind of have to remind yourself, like, no matter how crazy or busy things get, like this is the important thing. Like, so I'm glad you actually went to spend that 3 hours because I'm sure that reward that they're gonna pray for you about, like what you're gonna get from that is way more worth than any 3 hours you could have spent, no matter how hard you worked. That's how I kind of look at it.
Right? Yeah. And you know what's so interesting too is now, okay, when I was in my 20s, right? We worked really hard. I was married by the time I was 23.
Yeah.
And we worked really hard, and we wanted that house and that big house, and we had 5 acres of land. Yeah.
Hey,
Do you know how much that was to mow? Do you know the leaves? It was all wooded. It was absolutely beautiful, but it was a lot of work. So I spent so much time cleaning and taking care of everything. And I'm glad that we had that and our kids were able to experience that. But now in my life, I'm like, okay, small.
yeah. What was it like though? I'm curious to mow it. Like, were you doing it yourself or do you pay people?
No, we did it ourselves.
And how much time were you like spending the whole day, 2 days?
Oh my goodness. I mean, all the time. Plus it was completely wooded. So we had all these trees. So in the fall, when all the leaves would fall down, you spent, so much time out there just working on
Oh,
it. And I wanted everything to look so good. I was so particular. So I was out there raking and doing all of these things all the time. And I mean, part of me enjoyed it, but part of me too will tell you it does take away from family time when you're doing that.
yeah, no, that's funny. And the reason I'm curious is like what I was thinking about earlier. Obviously, when you're sitting here and thinking about things like that, like you're saying, you want the big things and all this, but you don't really think about the work that comes with it. So you're kind of like
Yes.
you're killing me here. It's like I'm thinking about more of the things that I want, but it's like hopefully everything goes to plan because if it doesn't, like you're gonna have to make a couple more sacrifices that you haven't thought about. But
Yeah. Yeah.
let's see.
Or make sure you hire someone to do some of those
Yeah,
things. Let me tell
that's
you.
what I was thinking. Like, if I'm not able to hire those people, like, then be ready to do it yourself. But
Yeah.
hopefully, we can hire them. That'll be the easy way out.
Yeah. 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 It definitely it would have made a difference, but we were just on the run, and now I look at where my life is, and I just try to enjoy and embrace every moment.
That's very important.
And all of the extra fluff, I say, all of the extra stuff, because I got rid of like everything. And
Like,
I'm so happy.
when you say you got rid of everything, what do you mean?
Oh my gosh, I had like that was just one of the houses, and then I later on had a house of my own,
Mm,
and I had all I mean, it was a big house, very big house. And I ended up giving away most of the furniture.
okay.
So now
Yeah.
I'm in
So
this.
I thought you were just saying like emotionally, but physically too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so now I'm in like a little apartment, and I love it. I'm
That's
free.
funny. That's funny. Like you got so right about that. It's like,
I,
you
I'm
know,
free. Yeah. So it's funny because we can look at things. So it's your perception. Okay. How do you look at it? Well, I can look at this and say, "Ugh, this stupid apartment. I was only supposed to be here for a year. That was the plan.
mm,
And it's been 6 years that I've
really,
been in this little apartment. But that time, I just didn't know that that 6 years was going to be a time of growth. And, I'm going to come out of here really a different person.
yeah. And I see that, and I'm happy for you. I'm glad. I'm glad we both get to go on our paths. And like you said, I was actually going to ask you, like, how do you how do you remind yourself to just enjoy the moment? Like, nobody understands that more than me, but I still catch myself like forgetting that a lot. Like yesterday, I was having a talk with one of my best friends, and he 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 made me put a reminder on my phone for every day, like that says remember to remember, because we were talking about something, but he was giving me advice, and he was like, you need to remember. So I like went into my phone, I set a reminder just to see that every day. Like that's one of my biggest things. I remember things and I know the right things, but it's hard for me to remember them. So
Mm.
it's like, how can you just make sure you can snap yourself out of it every moment, or not every moment, but most of the time, to be more in tune and just like appreciate things.
Wow. Yeah. There's so many different things. And that's a great idea. And somebody, I think this was just yesterday, someone said that they set timers on their phone like every hour. Or I used to set my phone for like 11:11
Mhm.
or something like that, like times like
Yes.
that. And I'd have it go off and I'd be like, "Oh, that's my time to just take a minute, no matter what I'm doing, just take a second and say, thank you." Because
Mhm.
gratitude is the key through all of this. Just thank you for everything in my life. And, we get up some mornings and it's like, you might not be feeling it
Yeah, it's hard,
all like,
honestly.
huh?
I
What's
said it's hard, honestly, sometimes.
so find the things that you can the reminders, whether it's setting your phone, whether it's putting Post-its on mirrors,
Mhm.
and then um a- any single thing that can remind you. And I try to journal every day. I try to do a little bit of reading, or I go to YouTube and find, an inspirational video or something to watch.
Mhm.
Music.
Music is
Re-
definitely my thing. I think
Yeah.
I'll use the post-it note thing too, also.
Yeah.
That-
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Good deal. So it's all of those things. But yeah, sometimes we're not, oh, today I was not feeling it today.
Uh,
And so give yourself grace when you're not feeling um the way you would want to. Okay? So when you're not feeling that your positive, confident self, just say, "Okay, maybe I just need a little quiet time. Maybe I'm just going to relax today or take a nap or just close my eyes for a few minutes." And, me growing up, it was like we worked so hard. That's what I was taught, was to work hard and you accomplish something every day. So that was like part of me. If I feel like I need to do something, what did I do productive today? I'll say,
that's such a like good thing, because um I'll say like I struggled with that, not being able to be productive. And I feel like if you have that background or you kind of grew up like that, it's in you forever. No matter how good, well off, or successful, wherever you get in life, part of you is never gonna let that go. Like, and part of me is kind of jealous. Like I wish I had that in me too. But you can also build it. It's not like something that's
Mhm.
impossible for me. It's
Yeah.
from my personality and how I look at things, like it just doesn't work out for me as well as probably would work out for you. But That's why everybody's different, you know.
Yes. Yeah. But we were talking about people don't know what they want. It's hard to really have a clear vision, I think, of everything that we do want in life. And and that's why it's so kind of mysterious too, because we also can experience so many things along the way and maybe find something that we didn't realize that that was going to happen.
Mm.
And so, you know, as you do this, you're just like, okay, well, what do I love? And just start maybe journaling about a few things and start thinking, well, okay, if I really could have anything I want, what would I do? What would my perfect day look like? What would your perfect day look like? I think that's a really good thing to
Um,
think.
that is a that's a hard question because it literally depends on what moment I'm thinking of. Like it could be, am I working like towards this goal? Is that the perfect day I'm having? Or is it I reached the goal and I'm having this perfect day? Like, because those are two different days. And both of those are perfect days in different ways because the one you work very hard, you get no like instant gratification from it. Like you just know you're grinding your ass off and you know like this day is perfect because it's going to lead to this day, which is the day where you have a perfect day where you're not doing anything, you're enjoying your time with your family, like this and that. Like those are two perfect days but in different ways. So I guess it just depends in what aspect you or what mindset you're in, because if you're if you're grinding, that's kind of like a perfect day for you. Probably you wake up at 6 in the morning, don't go to sleep till 12 in the
Oh,
morning, you know, like you're just grinding and everything you work for that day, you know, when you wake up tomorrow, it's gonna pay off, but not right now. So
okay. And this is why we need to get together because we are going to work on how to just let things happen. That was so difficult for me because I want to force things. I'm like, come on, let's go. I want to grind, but we really don't have to.
mm, we
We
do
work.
have to talk. I'll have to see this. Like, you know me, I'm open to everything. And if you're telling me that, I believe you more than I should believe anybody else because I've seen it, you know. Like I've seen you do things that you were gonna tell me you're gonna do. Like I literally was going through our message before this, and I remember the message, or what is it called? The vision board you had. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if you remember. You sent me your vision board because I was like, I'm gonna make one. Can you send me yours so I can kind of see how you're supposed to do it in this? And I just looked at it earlier before we hopped on there, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. I bet you she has a whole new different one. Like that's kind of how I feel like, you know,
Mhm.
those
Yes.
things make a difference, even though I knew I still didn't do it. It's like part of me just won't let me get out of my way. That's one thing I have to keep working on, knowing what I need to do and still not doing it.
That's some really good reflection time right there.
Yeah,
Because there's a limited belief, there's something that's stopping you, holding you back
yeah, definitely.
from moving forward. So, and that's what it's been for me is it's been really one little step at a time. And I don't realize, like with the podcast, like I said, it was my mind, my subconscious mind saying, "Oh, you can't do that." you know,
The
and
sub
then
man.
yeah. So it's oh my gosh, let me just say, it's been a journey and it's been little steps at a time and awareness, just being aware of the times that I do catch myself and it's like, "Oh, that's what it was. Okay, we're going to let that go,"
Mm,
And so apparently we have a what's a solar eclipse tomorrow or something too. And I
Really?
really pay attention now to like energy, to energy. So I don't, there are some days I'm like, oh no, I'm not feeling it today. Today is just relax. I'm going to relax and read. I'm
Mm,
just going to be
very
just like
important.
it is. Because really, if we wait until we're at that place to make the move, to you know exactly where your next move is, and it's really a, it's my connection with God that's talking to me and telling me, my intuition,
Mhm.
God speaking to me of what I need to do next. And so I wait until that's clear and until I do the next thing. So I don't work as hard and I don't worry about having it such a clean house anymore.
That's funny.
That
But
saves a lot of time.
no,
No.
that's what you're saying, like that's another aspect as far as like God. That's something I didn't even like get into because obviously we're in America. There's different religions, and especially like right now, talking about politics or anything religious, like it can just get very iffy. And
Mhm.
we can have a great conversation without getting into all that. But
Yeah.
I have to like say, like God has been such a big part of why I feel like things are like changing because He's showing me signs. Like it's very clear. And like I was telling you, I'll see what I need to do and still not do it. Like that's that part of me or that subconscious where God like doesn't turn his back on you because he's like, I've showed you so many like signs. I'm gonna keep doing it, but come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? So that's like another aspect of God that I really appreciate. Because think about how many times could I like do something to you or hurt your feelings or whatever, and how many times would you forgive me before you turn your back on me? So like think about how many times we've done something towards God and he never turns his back. He's always there. Like he literally is the most forgiving. And think about the most forgiving person you know, even they won't forgive you that much. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
aspect has been important too, staying close.
Yeah. And it is something, I usually say I think we do know that there is something out there, whether you want to call it universe or spirit or, and I call it God.
Mhm.
That's what I say. We can't deny there is something in the energy in this world, and so and I never talk politics, but
Smart
uh,
one.
I ain't wasting my time. So, oh my
That's how we
gosh,
that's how we should treat it to a certain extent. But like if there's a debate about it and it's like people are talking about it and that's the right setting, then the conversation needs to be said. But like everybody
yeah,
wants to leak it into everything now. Like
yeah,
there's a place
yeah,
for it and a time for it. Like it shouldn't be leaking into everything into our lives and like our neighbors and who we see each other like through like all that stuff. To me, it's just part of the pawn game that they play with us. It's just
hmm
all these small little things they dangle in front of us. But as a whole, we can't see it, but few of us can like distinguish it. So like it's kind of important. That's like one of my goals in life, you know. Make sure I change the way or leave an impact to where people are more aware of the things that are going on around them that they don't necessarily see or know the people controlling it. Like that's a very big thing for me to leave an imprint on. Like there's I remember reading something. It was like 1% of the world controls the world. 4% of them works for the 1% to control 95 of them. Out of the 95, 5% are awake. The other 90 are asleep. Like that's how the world kind of is like. But lately, since everything that's been going on, a lot of the 90% are starting to wake up because they're starting to see things. They're like, hey, listen that. And I know you don't want to talk about politics specific, but just in general, being a human, people are seeing certain things about certain politicians on both sides. Like at the end of the day, they're both politicians. So it's all about what you think is best for you. And that's what you need to focus on. Don't
Yeah.
let all the other stuff get in there.
Yeah. Well, on The Secret, don't isn't it on The Secret when they talk about they say that the favor usually goes to, and we can talk about politics or whatever, to the person that most people are talking bad about because they're getting more press.
Right.
So
That's it's like
so
the
it's
whole
kind of
point.
like, yeah, it's like just, oh gosh, I see, I don't watch news or anything. I don't even hardly watch
Good
TV.
for you.
That's
There's
the secret.
yeah,
Don't watch the news.
yeah, that's literally
Use
on.
your own, use your own mind, use your heart.
And find your own news. There's other news
Yes,
out there. Not the
exactly.
not the main ones though. Stay away from
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, okay. So that was really good. Yes. This this is good. We're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to come back on here because and we're gonna get together. We got some work to do.
For sure. I definitely need
No.
it. And I can't wait.
No.
No, I,
No.
I actually I get it. I know you're joking, but it's like something I need to hear so much. I don't even
Oh.
care if it's a joke. Like I need to please do that for me. Like let's get together.
Mhm.
And like I said, I'll self-sabotage, but this time I'm being more aware of things. So I'm making sure like
Okay.
no matter how much I want to self-sabotage, things will get done in the way that they need to. Like
Yep.
that subconscious
Okay.
is gonna have to figure it out.
All right. We're on it.
All right,
We're gonna do it.
let's do it.
It that's good. Is that anything else you want to share? Or that was
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah,
I appreciate
that
you
was
for having
good.
me on.
Aw, thank you so much. This was so good. Yep, we're gonna get together again, and I'm excited to see what life has in store for you.
Inshallah.
So we're gonna have a little vision board party and all this other kind of stuff. All right.
Inshallah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Can't wait.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. I um I hope that you got something from today because that's what life's about, and finding your true, authentic, confident self because there's a beautiful world out there and we just need to go find it. So I like to leave my podcast instead of saying goodbye because my grandma didn't like to say goodbye, I don't think. And so instead, I'm going to say, see you later. So long.
Bye. Like and subscribe.